Anyways, on that note, Ollie, good luck with that. Both of you have fun. We're going to have our first game, Into the Breach versus Virtus.Pro. Enjoy.
Thank you so much to our wonderful desk, and thank you very much to Fresh for being bold enough to stand up there and give us an outrageous take and give us all something to chuckle about here on the pre-show. But we are now ready to get stuck into our games. Myself and Demo are going to be taking you through every single fixture here tonight, and I don't know about you, Demo, but I am raring to go. We played a little bit of Ranky this morning. I couldn't stay for long. We got a couple of games in, and it certainly warmed me up nicely for EUL here tonight.
And the only ranked game that we played was on this map as well. Ollie, Consulate is where we head.
We can judge this fairly heavily because our attacks were flawless today.
They were. Look, I think this map for ITB, they're going to be really happy that they've been able to go here. I think they were done really well. I think to ban Clubhouse away from VP as one of their final bans. I think then it kind of pushes VP into a corner where you either go Consulate or Border. Two maps which in the current meta is things that VP don't want to deal with. The way that you play Consulate and Border, it's fast, it's aggressive, you can hit them with the rush operators. That is the Achilles heel of VP at the moment.
Now, I put out a tweet earlier, and I'll be honest, I made the tweet twice because I was given a couple of predictions for today, and I really couldn't call it between ITB and VP. I genuinely, I put Into the Breach down as winning it first, and then I went back and changed my mind, and something just, I don't know, I just don't think that VP are going to take that beating that they got yesterday from G2 too lightly. I think they're going to be back and ready for business here tonight. But Into the Breach, a very experienced side, and a side that we've spoken about a lot so far in the stage. Let's see what they have to show us here tonight. They are going to be starting off on the defense on Consulate. We've got a Hibana, Monty, Azami, and a Fenrir ban. So some more outside bans coming in there, particularly the Hibana ban. It is going to leave open a couple of things on that attack, excuse me. And then the Azami Fenrir, I mean, are we still banning Fenrir?
Hibana's really weird. Because I don't think Consulate is one of like the heaviest maps where we see a lot of hard breach.
It's not a hatch map, is it?
Mostly the hatches will be left open by roamers as well. You know, obviously garage, yes, you need hard breach to open up garage, well, we know that. But whenever you actually look at the hatches, for example, teams will roam in towards Piano, for example, and then they'll have the hatch open just to drop off very quickly back into the safety of the bomb site. So yeah, I think Hibana is a bit of a wasted ban by ITB. I don't really know what they're going for, but hey, look, they studied the map. Maybe they've seen something that we didn't, Ollie. So it's up to them to go for it. I think VP, I think their bans make a lot of sense. Look, they want to try and get in early with the attacks, get the Azami out of there. And then as we know, with the Monty, has been a big issue for them. It's an operator that ITB love and play. You know, you have Kenny there on the shields, can play that role extremely well. So on the surface of things, look, the bans make sense on VP's part, but I don't know if the bans make too much sense for ITB, but look, we'll go with it.
Especially when you consider that ITB starting off on the defense, so they are really giving VP a chance to flex that wide operator pool. I mean, we have a wide operator and a wide attacker and a wide defender pool available at the moment. More bans are surely round the corner. I think we've been feeling that for a while, but as it stands, if we look at what VP are going to take advantage of here, they're not going to be able to bring Bs in, and it's going to be joystick straight in. Got a nice track onto Azza, and Azza is going to be forced back a little bit. Maybe Kenny just looking to backfill that position somewhat. Joystick can't aggress too heavily at the moment. The wall will be electrified. Nice pocket hard breach. Should see to it that that gets opened, along with a couple of secondary EMPs. There we go, the thermite comes in, the big guns.
Yeah, good earlier pressure there from VP, using the Grims to get that bandit away from that triple wall so he can no longer bandit trick, get in with the EMPs, get the wall open. So admin is in their control, but I mean, on the surface of ITB, they didn't look as though they really wanted to fight for triple wall. They were happy enough just to fall back whenever they got the chance. Now for VP, they're going to try and look to open up that outside breach on the balcony. And that will give them an entrance into that small closet area, but doesn't do a lot apart from really just cut off across. You don't have a plant from there. You can't really walk into meeting from that door without getting shot from about 5 different angles. So it is very risky. So this is where all eyes have to be on Oscar. The smoke. This has to be the win con now for ITB. If they can line up Oscar well, he looks as though in Baguette, on pressure, can just sit back and throw the toxic babes as VP will come in for that approach. They should have no issues, but Kenny, who makes a daring swing onto the meat door, will get the opening pick onto Always, and Joystick also goes down as Noah's just sat holding an angle onto the long corridor.
Dan trying to make something happen from below, but the nades are nowhere near as potent as they used to be. He can start to push up Spiral now, but he's got Creeds to contend with tucked in behind that long desk, and a lot of different angles for Dan to challenge on here. It's only a matter of time until Creeds takes that challenge as well, and Azza backing him up. Shaping up to be a flawless right now as ITB stamp out VP.
No bite. No bite whatsoever. That is like coming against a great white shark, Ollie, and there's no teeth in the thing. It's as safe as a puppy. It looks scary, the VP attack, the way they were setting up, but nobody was able to actually play off the Grims, play off the information. Everyone just looks scared from VP to really make a move there and get some kills.
I think the lineup was a little bit strange as well. We've got Dan playing the IQ below. Now, IQ below is fine. Nothing really wrong with it.
That's his comfort pick. We always see him on the IQ.
It's his comfort operator. But imagine if he'd have had a sledge, or sorry, a book. Or imagine if he'd have had something that he could have affected. Imagine if he'd have played a Deimos. Think about the verticality. He just didn't have that bite. He was left throwing nades up through the floor. I mean, that doesn't work anymore. I thought the positioning was fantastic. We're seeing him switch on to the Deimos now. Obviously, it's a different site, so he's not going to be playing in the same kind of a way.
10 seconds to go.
But VP, for all that they moved well in the early part of the round, and they got that initial control inside of admin, they got the wall open in toward meeting. Everything from there on just really sort of petered out. And again, they maybe didn't use those engage operators as well as you could do. The Grim Bees are fantastic if you do something about the information that you get, but if you're just going to be someone and not put that pressure on, not pile on the drones, pile on the people swinging corners, then it doesn't really have the same desired effect.
I think for VP, they just need to try and hit more angles and try and put the pressure on the ITB, because they just didn't do that. Now we move into our basement, and as expected, defense going to go for the roam. Let's see how much time they can waste, and already from the first round, I think ITB are understanding, how to play against VP. It's all about burn down the clock, don't give them that first pick, get in their face whenever they least expect it. They done all that, and that's why it was a very easy round for them. You can see VP, they've already burned a minute off the clock, and they still have these roamers to deal with. Say that though, one roamer's gonna go down, and almost a second. Oscar takes a bit of damage there. I'm surprised that the headshot didn't land for Pasha. Does mean he has to fall back, and Oscar now looks as though he's by himself with Noah going down. But for VP, it looks as though they're more interested in trying to get in towards the top floor. See if they can put pressure on him, maybe from the vertical angles. See two players from ITB also join Oscar, one inside piano, one just playing around the yellow stairs. So for VP, you need to get in here and get these kills sorted, because again, Ollie, this is a basement. Usually takes a little bit longer to try and get in there and get the wall open and get the plant down.
Yeah, a basement attack. You've spent half the round, and there is still a significant roam game. That's where you got to start to make a very clear and concise decision. And that decision is, are we going to chase this roam game and try and win on kills, or are we just going to try and flood the site and get something done that way? Always is able to take Azza down. Now the remaining players that are off-site for ITB have got a decision to make. Are they going to try and hold that vertical, or are they going to try and retreat back to site? The cuts should be being held. Kenny can try and delay this hatch getting opened again with another Zoto, and Creeds. He's going to take some of that pressure away, removing Joystick from the equation. The second O could be called, I don't believe went through. It may have done though. Another Zoto canister to really try and keep control of this hatch. A pre-play C4 above isn't going to land. Creed's allowed back into sight, can tuck himself in behind yellow pillar. He's in a great spot now to watch onto yellow and the breach. With the lack of movement from VP, should be fairly easy for Into the Breach to hold on here. The main wall will be opened. Stuns getting sent out. He's going to smoke off a couple of lines there, but Creed's easy for him with the swing onto Always. Does find himself down for his troubles. Dan on the backstab. What's he going to be able to find? Pasha, no HP to speak of, tries to flood through, but Oscar takes him out. Dan, an attempt was made, but it was way too little too late.
Yeah, VP just taking way too long to get into the position. Look, that's what I was worried about. You need a little bit more time to get that breach opened up, figure out the positionings of the remaining defenders, and then you move in for the plant. All they did was open up the wall, guessed where players were, and then tried to run in. But Oscar, with a flank, I think Dan was holding onto the Visa stairs flank. He then rotates down Spiral, and as he rotates down Spiral, Oscar goes up Visa and then onto the hatch. Flank protection, where is it? No cams for VP there for them to play off. Look, I think VP did a lot better in the opening to get, you know, the first pick, which was just down to Pasha eliminating that kill. The second kill, like, play off the Deimos information, so you wanted to see them use that information, use those strong operators, get that kill. They did that. But then they just, it seemed to slow down. I think maybe Creed's plan on yellow stairs hit them a little bit. You know, Creed appears, gets that kill. Did he go above? Did he go below? Maybe they were figuring out, okay, how long is this going to take us to really find this guy who's just killed another player?
5 seconds to go.
I just think the decision making from VP, they just didn't really know what they wanted to go for.
Attackers must locate.
And I think that's in part to ITV in the way that they're playing it. They know that VP can be quite slow. They're going, yeah, no worries. We'll give them a lot of things to solve. We'll play the mini games. We'll extend. We'll roam. Even challenging them on the entries to the building. I think about last round that double door was opened and wasn't for free that players were allowed to walk in. Sure, Joystick got the opening pick, but VP never really ran away with that advantage.
Nice little adaptation as well there from ITB. They've reinforced that double wall, which was something that we noticed that Dan played with extremely well. Whenever he had that big 1v2 clutch, he made a rotate into that bench window wall. So a reinforcement from ITB now forces out the ace to use the charges to give them that same angle. So this is what the guys in the desk were talking about. You know, ITB have 15 rounds to go off for VP. Or is it 14 rounds? There's 8-6, wasn't it? I think it was 8-6. Against Secret, I think it was. So 14 rounds that they can analyze. And you can see just that little variation. Shows that they've done their homework.
Yeah, absolutely.
Activating shock drone.
And ITB are one of those teams that really do put in the work for the countering as well. A little bit of Twitch drone action.
He doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep. Honestly.
I have actually never seen him asleep, so that may be true.
I've never seen him in a bed in the same room.
No. Azza. Playing pretty close to that open breach, but
he has a shotgun.
I don't think anyone knows that he's there right now. It could be a nice little spot if anyone chooses to push in, but for the meantime, it is just a bit of an option that Virtus.Pro are going to leave themselves.
Feels really slow again.
It just
like
feels
2 minutes
as well, doesn't it?
Like, what have they really got? I mean, there's still players above. You have the Solus they contend against. Creeds has found 2 just from Spiral. Wherever those kills came from. Doesn't get the third, though. As Dan on that IQ once again finds his kill. Still 45 seconds. 3 players on each side. Upstairs control still with ITB. And look at this for Always. It's going to be a difficult angle for him to challenge onto. To kill that guy on Spiral, he needs to expose himself to the player inside a bench. So ITP playing the crossfires extremely well. Shepard on the rappel, it looks like upstairs. And they just allowed Always to wander into the site. But Noah, it was on bench, able to appear and find that pick. And Dan, his information has been fed over to ITB down to that goo mine. They know where he is. And Shepard, he's still on that window, only now repelling in, but is he going to be able to help his teammate? Dan has to try and do it all himself. Eliminates Noah, the 2v2, but is not aware that that player from Spiral may take a challenge. And Shepard, where were you this entire round, my friend? You have fed Dan to the wolves.
Shepard was on vacation. Taking a little AFK break of his own right there. It's kind of funny that the wall that VP opened straight away with the ace charge onto benches was essentially the undoing of the round, because as soon as that was open into the breach, was like, yeah, sound, we'll play on the other side of that, and we're just going to play outside of the site, looking into it, and you've given us a perfect window of opportunity. Even the location that the plant was attempting to go down right at the end there by Dan, he was trying to run to that corner, and it's like, You've made the hole in the wall directly opposite it. Everybody can see you.
ITB wanted VP to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They watch VP. They know VP loves getting that wall open. Usually it's soft. We know that. They would make a shotgun hole, whatever it is. You reinforce that. VP then are going to go for it anyway. Once they open that up, generally, they'll just leave it. All they use that as is kind of like an escape to get out of the site once the diffuser's planted. So if you then just use that to stop them getting into the site, I mean, where VP want to push in from, which is going to be coming in from lobby, you can't get in. That wall's open, and they double up. You play one guy on planks, you play the other guy on spiral. They have that cross. If one tries to challenge plank, spiral refrags. If they try and kill spiral, planks refrags. So those two players are just sat like a train track, parallel lines the whole time. You can't get through that. Honestly, you need a Shepherd to rotate the bench to move that guy away from that position, and then you try and challenge onto that guy on spiral. But they just didn't communicate. Shepherd's just sat doing what? I have no idea what he was doing.
Oh, Creeds is feeling himself right now. Dan, just on the other side of the barricade. Free fire comes out, but not successful. Just a little bit high on the shots there, Creed. And Dan, he's going to punish you for it. He knew that somebody was there, and it was a nice little exchange. But to be fair, the opening pick, it has gone to VP a couple of rounds so far, and it hasn't meant too much. So I don't think the ITB are going to be too concerned about losing a player early on. But maybe this round it will be a little bit different, as we have seen a full rotation now. We're going to be going back to sites that we have already witnessed. Kenny there, great shot on to Dan. Immediately traded out by Always as Joystick joins the party. This is a bit of bite that we wanted to see from VP.
I mean, I think it's more bite from ITB. ITB have went for just the heads-up aggression or trying to swing VP at every chance that they can, but VP are ready for it. And because of that, they suffer 3 deaths very early on into the round. Noah and Oscar, the 2 remaining players, up against 4. Noah, again, keeping up this aggression. Knows that there's one inside of open area, but he just doesn't know if he can aggress, and somehow he is able to find a kill on the Joystick. Pasha, you need to get in there and trade, but that shotgun close may scare him away. Pasha's just left. He just said, bye, Joystick, goodbye.
That's criminal. You've literally hung Joystick out to dry right there. Stuns, they're going to get sent out. Noah, full white flashed right now. Shepherd going to try and hop in. He does have the diffuser, so he could try and bait this. But he doesn't really have too much in the form of support. He does, however, have Patcher below on the death mark. He's going to be able to get the track down, but he's not going to be able to pass that information across. Shepherd, he comes off the plan, picks up the kill. Oscar there for the direct trade, though. And now is the sole survivor. He's going to get taken out by Shepherd on the hop out. Feel as though Joystick almost was breathing a small sigh of relief there, because that round, great round from VP. Got the opening pick, dealt with the aggression really well. But still, it feels like it's extremely close. And ITB almost playing with their food in that one.
I mean, I have to be honest, Ollie. The wheels almost came off the cart for VP. Like, Noah, you need to kill him. You need to hit your shots, buddy. That goes into a 2v2. 1 player below. I think Oscar actually killed. It would have been ending into a 1v2. There's one of them. Easily could be 4-0 right now. But VP, look, I think they had a really good opening. I think they dealt with the aggression well. You can see ITB have just went, yeah, let's go at them. But VP winning their engagements. And you see for ITB immediately not wanting to go back upstairs, straight down into the basement is where they head.
10 seconds to go.
Which they had, I would say, a close but relatively good round down here. Again, I think they played VP like a fiddle. They wanted to burn as much time as they could on this roam game. And then using the Bandit Tabaro combination just to stall out the round for VP, which was the biggest issue for them. The time really became a factor. No Tabaro this time. Only the smoke and the Bandit, who you would expect to be playing inside a site. The other 3 probably in and around on the roam game. So VP, let's see how they deal with the roam game. Get the Deimos there and the Dokkaebi, so they really shouldn't have any issues with it.
I liked the way they were trying to use the Deimos last round. We didn't really get to see it in its entirety. But the premise is there. all about gathering that information and then choosing the time to send the death mark out. It's no good sending it out when you're outside of the building. You need to be in an adjacent room to really get the most out of that. Speaking of getting the most out of things, always, with the Twitch drone there, going to find a heck of a lot of value. Here's the BP, the default, and one of the batteries. It's going to free things up later on into the round. Now, this is where we saw Into the Breach have a real extensive roam in round number 2. And VP got caught trying to deal with it, and it really ran them ragged on time. To be honest, Demo, looks like similar's happening again.
Yeah, not a lot happening for VP once again. It just feels though VP are always just trying to look for a gap. But really, ITB are just allowing none of that to happen. Pasha eliminated. Mistrone on the Creeds, it looks like. Now VP need to get a move on, and Joystick's gonna do exactly that. Hops in through the bathroom window. No logic bomb available to himself. He's used both of them. Just pushing deep. No information. I mean, he's just trying to face check corners. He knows that they're, of course, the players inside of open area, and in comes Joystick now. See if he can find this kill on the Creeds. It's going to be a difficult engagement with that shotgun SMG, but never mind, as Creeds is too preoccupied with dealing with that Deimos on his window. I think Creeds is going to be happy there, especially with Noah able to get the trade from below with a C4. It's a 3 versus 4. Below a minute left. I mean, VP, you're exactly where ITB wants you to be.
The team play there is unrivaled. What Creeds and Noah have just pulled off is fantastic. Noah coming in to assist. Creeds has already done a lot of the hard work. He's already got himself a kill. And then for Noah to come in and secure that on the C4. An absolute fearlessness in supporting one another right now. 2 versus 4 right now with 20 seconds left to go. Look at Oscar's positioning. Really tucked here inside a closet. Dropped into sight. Dan finds one with the Vendetta, but there's still players above. Noah and Azza to clean up one apiece. Oscar in his little lurk. Upstairs in his hiding place. Not even required there. Into the breach. Fantastic defensive showing right now.
It's a great game from ITB. I think they've read VP like a book. Everything that VP are trying to do, ITB are just playing against that, wasting a lot of time. Good roamers. I mean, I would say just the information game isn't being done. I mean, even Joystick, you know, face checking corners. Yes, he knows where the mute is, but he has no idea if anyone else could be with him. Just don't know what to say about VP. They just look just so demotivated right now. In terms of trying to play together and work as a team, it just feels very solo. You made a point about that a few rounds ago. It just feels very individualized from VP. Yeah. You're not seeing them, you know, all take from one side. They seem to just be scattered around for about a minute in hopes that somebody finds the pick and then you just play off the man advantage. But ITB, they're not giving them that. You know, ITB are just playing tucked, playing very safe. Obviously, they had that one aggro round, which is the only round that VP have won. But again, we know that that's a tactic that works against VP, where you just try and rattle them with the gun engagements. I mean, G2 obviously did that extremely well yesterday against them. But right now, it's a masterclass from ITB, the way they're set up.
I think without doubt, you speak about rattling VP, even though they won that round, I think it still rattles them, doesn't it? Because it's still like, oh, it's just so aggressive. Like, when VP's biggest strength is their repetition and the teamwork, when you're not seeing that teamwork come through and you're not seeing that repetition, that's when you know you've got a bit of a problem, because they prefer the strategy, they prefer all of that over the chaos. But when they're not able to produce that repetition, when they're not able to produce that strategy and that team play, when they are forced to play a little bit more loose, it is blatantly obvious. And I think that Into the Breach are putting them in a great spot. I mean, look at this round as an example. We've seen 50 seconds and not a lot has happened so far. Dan's got himself in downstairs to Visa on the IQ again. Not a lot that he's going to be able to find down there. There's a couple of Valkyrie cameras dotted around, but want to be getting your team in position. It isn't doing much to assist the team right now in gaining further ground.
I mean, look how many people are upstairs again for ITB, using the vertical angles. Have actually been able to pop off the ace charges from above. So always just thought, oh, I'll just walk in and get the wall open at least, but that has not worked out, and he's going to try and use the last Selma, as the verticals have been covered off, but I mean, this should have been done previously. Looks as though maybe it's actually missed as well. No, never mind. They have got the wall open. So they've got a way into the site, but again, that way into the site will be held from above, and they've already used some of the smoke arrows as well to cover that off. A minute left, no kills on the board for VP, hardly any presence upstairs. This is just going to end in tears. I can see it before my very eyes.
Yeah, I think they've been given exactly what Into the Breach have let them have right now. He's coming out, Creed's forced out of position. Still no one there for the catch though, so more than happy to just slightly reposition himself. Kenny waiting at bench's window, just conscious of the bottom of these yellow stairs. Edge up does go out. That could stop him from making that rotation, but it's likely going to be able to find the angle onto it and get it shot. This amount of vertical pressure is surely going to be fairly straightforward to try and stop anyone from pushing on through, and Creed's going to kick things off, take Shepard down. Still left trying to fight these vertical angles. Bastolis has got a great read onto what's going on, but they're going to be able to stop the plant from going down. Misses the shots. Joystick picks two. Pasha, one with the fire, and the plant has been confirmed. VP, they've snuck one in under the noses of Into the Breach, and it's now all down to Creed's and Noah. Creed's going to approach, see if he can find anybody, but VP have scarpered. They've got themselves out of the way right now. Maybe tries to jump on and disable that diffuser, but there will be Vert above. Can't hold it for the entire time. 2 kills comes in. Creed, he found one on the reverse. There's a lot of pressure on you now, Joystick, and the time is ticking. 11 seconds. Still, Noah on the disable. Can't get it done, though. Joystick, he dances around up there and eventually finds the angle.
Oh boy. A round for VP that you just think, how have they pulled it off? I mean, obviously, Azur just could not hit the shots. Knew exactly where the guy was planting as well, but just couldn't line it up. The fire was just caused them a lot of issues. Using the fire arrows through the verticals creates this kind of a mess. You're not supposed to kill there. That was the moment. I also have to highlight the play from Joystick where he was outside a bench, a position that I mentioned before that they just had no interest in taking. They put the player outside a bench. Nomad's off. Kenny, who I believe had crossed down in towards yellow stairs, that stops Kenny getting back. That's one less guy to worry about trying to stop the plant. So even on that grounds, I think Joystick did very well as a Nomad just to keep people at bay and just block off those flanks from happening. And then he rotates above, full vertical pressure. Obviously, it's looking a little bit sketchy there as 2 players died. It went down to the 1v2, but just not enough time really for ITB. All they could do is one stick and hope that the other player lands the kill, and it just didn't work for them. Both of them lining up amongst each other, and VP walk away with a round win. But again, it just looked so scary for a period, didn't it, for VP? The rounds that VP have won, Ollie, there's always been a moment, just that flicker where they could have lost that, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely terrifying. And ITB, they're going to be coming into this half feeling really good about themselves. 4 rounds on the defense, 3 left to find to secure the map. Now VP, they have their turn.
Attackers recovered the
Creed's
diffuser.
gonna be on the nook downstairs, thinking about pushing in through garage. I'm gonna see the outside wall opened as well here. I'm not expecting to see Into the Breach move too quickly here. They're going to be more than happy to spend a little bit of time in this early part of the round to set things up and try and have Creed's prowling below, but that is very quickly dealt with. Pasha, out of nowhere, Ferrari's round onto lower spiral and finds the nook.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Yeah, pretty obvious what ITB were hoping to go for. More or less just your basic kind of take in towards the office, you know, in towards CEO. You want to try and have the nuke lurk below, stops any C4s from happening, and then you just execute with the Grim and the Ying, which you have on board, and it should be quite easy. It looks as though maybe they're thinking about doing something a little bit different and rotating it all the way over towards admin, which certainly with the diffuser being moved to that location, it does seem like it. But for ITB, this is where things a little bit scary, because obviously without a big wing con, which is obviously having Creed's blow stopping the C4s, and maybe could try a lurk up spiral, for example, to cut off a flank. then where do you really go from here? It's just going to have to be push in towards meat and hope that the Grims and the Yings are going to be enough to stabilize. But look, I'm seeing Goyos, I'm seeing smokes, I'm seeing a lot of C4s. I mean, that's a lot to get through. And speaking of C4s, almost takes out Oscar of one of them. I think right now for VP, they're sitting pretty. They just don't have to move their feet and play their util.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Not much has happened since that opening death from Creed in terms of kills. Oscar, a little bit softened up right now. He's just going to be outside of the breach. Joystick going to find one with the shotgun close range onto Kenny. And Hazard trying to push through, but being greeted by the Vulcan shields and the Vulcan canisters right now. Joystick on a tear with his second on the round. ITB slowly getting burnt to a crisp right now. This fire should dissipate and give them a few seconds to move in, but it isn't going to be a lot of time at all. This could be a flawless round to kick off the defensive phase for VP right now. Dan sneaking round through long desk there on the flank. VP, they took another round away.
Yeah, good round from VP. Look, I think that opening kill onto Creed's really just stunned ITB. They struggled. Okay, what do we do now? So I think decision making has to be looked at. You know, it shouldn't, like, that strat shouldn't just rely solely on Creed's having to go below, maybe give you a lurk kill, maybe give you a flank, stop the C4s. That shouldn't be what that round, you know, solely relies on. It just felt as though they just didn't really figure out in time what to do. You know, I think they figured out what to do, which is, okay, let's go admin now. But by the time they realized that, Ollie, half the round was gone. You know, and like I mentioned, you're against the Goy, you're against the smoke, all those C4s, a lot of denial you're against. Also, I think losing the Ying as that repel down the connector window, shotgun immediately by Joystick doesn't help. You lose that Ying. It would have been great to have to maybe give you a little bit of a chance. But for VP, look, they played it well. They played the strats, they played the operators that they needed to. And they walk away with a flawless defensive win.
5 seconds to insertion. Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Well, it's getting a little bit closer now. 4 rounds to 3. The door not entirely shut on VP just yet. I think if they get a bit of momentum in this one, Demo, ITB could have the work cut out for them. Still timeouts available for both teams. And we have only seen 1 round from ITB on their attack, so I don't really know how they're going to be approaching it just yet. Don't think that Creed's going to be going for a similar tactic this time. He's not playing the Nook, he's instead on the IQ. Won't be trying to crouch walk his way in and get a bit of an advantage that way. Instead, going to be working with the team right from the off. Line scan come in, and a nade for the bottom of that long desk. For the most part, no one wanting to go in and really take any early engagements, just setting up from the periphery.
I mean, it's a top floor clear. But the only issue with going for this strategy, Ollie, is that there's 4 C4s you have to dance around, you know, on the lineup of VP. That is a lot. So as you do kind of blitz in towards the CEO and in towards a meeting, I mean, don't forget, VP can easily just use the information and figure out where you are. And just C4 to Kingdom Come.
Attackers have recovered their defense.
I mean, right now from VP, they're trying to hold upstairs from actually the mid floor. So they are doing just that. Nobody really in the hot seat. Maybe you look at Pasha here on the Capcan, who is in and around the baguette area. And it just feels though it's only a matter of time before he slowly gets pinched here, as ITB now will begin their util dump, and Creeds is somehow in, and he's planting inside of B right now. Nobody is home from VP. C4 way too late. And now we're in a 4v4 post plant.
Defenders have located the diffuser.
Well, they got away with that one then. VP got a tough task on the hands here, but they're going to whittle away and chip down these attackers. Shepard, he's on the disable. Noah is above, but he's going to get dealt with along with Oscar. VP, they can sit back and go, what are you guys playing at?
Right, okay.
Silly season?
It's not silly season. It's just it's very, very badly timed. You know, really miscued. Well, I know, it's weird. That plant position that we've seen Creed's plant in, right? That's really good if you have upstairs control. If you do not have upstairs control, it's really bad. ITB thought that they had upstairs control, but they did not. And that's why it just didn't work. You had nobody playing above in the verticals. And actually the defenders who were able to retake above, pressure stop players playing above, using the vertical angles. Like this right here. You know, Noah thinks upstairs is clear, but no, Pasha was up. Remember, Pasha was up here for ages. I was sure he was going to be a dead man, but somehow lives the entire round. But like I said, you can't hold that diffuser from any other place apart from above. So I don't really know what they were thinking with that.
10 seconds remaining.
Again, it just seemed as though VP were like, if they're going to plant in the site at that point in the round, we're happy to retake it.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
ITB maybe not thrown a couple of rounds there, but I think they've let a couple of rounds go pretty softly across to VP. Not sure how much need there is to get the plant down so early on into the round when they didn't have sufficient vert. And when the kill started to come for VP, it seemed like they knew where everybody was because it was just one after another after another. Attempted trick will be successful.
Did he just miss? Yeah, he just ripped someone straight through the mirror window.
I don't think he knew that the mirror window had been. He knew it had been cracked, but I didn't know it. I didn't think he knew it had been popped.
Yeah.
So it's a scuffed breach. I think he'll be able to hop through it, but that's about it.
Yeah, not the easiest of things to go against. There's obviously the mirror window. There's cracked open like that. Usually it's, you know, teams will use that mirror window for that exact reason, to kind of scuff the breach, but also C4s are another thing. Just line it up, toss it through the mirror window, hope you can get a kill. For ITB, they've got the breach open. Now their next stage of action should be just clear these roamers, which, like I said, I was really surprised to see the roamers up and about it during the last round. This is scary because Always is above. He knows that there's attackers with him, but do they know that he's here? I mean, they have the Dokkaebi, but Dokkaebi call's gonna come up in another 2 seconds or so. Yeah, they have no idea. As they're taken down, Oscar's there with a trade. Pasha finds another one. So they know that Pasha's over towards open area, but still it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to see if they can really contest against that. Noah appears as well through main door. What's going on? Kills everywhere, Ollie.
Reloading my ammo.
Real scrappy round, isn't it? Oscar, he's trying to make something happen, but Dan immediately sees to it that he won't. Kenny from outside of the breach kind of gets the feeling that he's left out in the cold there. There's not a lot he can do from that breach location, and he was really relying on his teammates just opening that up somewhat. Now worried about those yellow stairs as Noah takes up that position on this scuffed breach. But in terms of information, it really doesn't feel as though ITB are working off all that much. There's nobody watching a drone right now. That usually tells you all you need to know. Pasha, Dan, and Shepard, they can just work off the wub-wubs now as Noah is going to be able to push in and allowed to just get to the front of that car, but takes a bit of damage here. Left on 3 HP, nothing he can do as Pasha puts an end to his misery. And Kenny now, is he aware of the player behind Pillar? It looks like it, but he's got some very narrow angles and narrow shots to find right now, and VP aren't giving him anything. Eventually, a swing with the shotgun at close range puts him down. VP take the lead for the first time here tonight.
This is where their Monty ban is playing pivotal for VP. Look, Monty, an operator that ITB like they will play, been banned against them. For Monty as an operator, what he is able to do on Consulate is, it's so powerful. You think about Consulate, everyone's played it in ranked, right? Whenever you walk into some of these bomb sites, everyone knows how open it is. You have to check about 20 different angles, and then maybe you walk in if you don't get killed already. You think about top floor, trying to take control of yellow, for example. You want to push in to, you know, yellow, where you have connector door, you have the bathroom head holes, you have baguette, 3 different angles be swung on. You think about long corridor, all the different angles, and get killed from that perspective. The double door meeting, again, exactly the same thing. Basement, walking in through breach. 4 different angles you're up against. Walking in the yellow door, exactly the same thing. Mid floor, those bomb sites are going to be open for those big long angles in towards piano. Monty is great at just being able to ignore all of that, and this is where the ban is so important. You think about the issue right there for ITB. It was actually getting in towards yellow, trying to get a bit of control almost for them, trying to play off Oscar. That's right here for Kenny. He can't go against all those different angles. You're Monty, you walk in, you push that guy out. ITB have to completely change their fundamentals because they don't have that operator, which I would feel they would love right now in this situation. The things that they're trying to do about Monty are not working. Immediately, if it was open, I think ITB would have chose this operator second to none right now because they can't deal with the aggression and the crossfires that VP are putting up.
Again, that highlights quite a major weakness, though. If a lot of your strategy revolves around one operator, we have operator bans in the game.
10 seconds
You need
left.
to be able to adapt. You need to be able to work around that.
I don't think it's the strategy for ITB. It's the fact that now this is where, whenever the initial strategy hasn't worked, they would love to bring the Monty in just to slow things down. Because they usually do that as a team.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's the,
They don't have that
it's the
option.
parachute cord. It's Panic Monty.
Yeah.
We love it. Well, they have just taken a tactical timeout. Let's see what words of wisdom Kangaroo Kenny was able to impart during that 45 seconds. Because they haven't won a round yet here on their attacks. And they're in danger of this one slipping away from them.
4 rounds in a row they've lost.
VP. They're going from strength to strength. They had a bit of a slow start, but they've worked their way into the fixture nicely. You do just get the feeling that if they win this round, it's going to be difficult mentally then for ITB to switch things up, especially with them already taking that timeout. So a very important round,
yeah.
I believe, round number 10 right now. And it's been given that respect. Taking things fairly slowly for the meantime. Dan will just dip himself out there as he's getting droned pretty heavily right now. But look at this. Bit of a prone joystick hiding and waiting.
I mean, the pace is certainly looking good for ITB. Already got control of that triple wall. They just need to see if they can get players in
Drop the diffuser.
and then start aggressing onto Vending Machine, for example. Strong position that we always like to highlight. This is one thing that VP didn't do on their attacks, and this is what I like to see from ITB. They're also looking to put pressure on other sides of the map. You know, bathroom window, for example, that cuts off a lot of rotations, a lot of crosses, and oh, Noah loses against Pasha. Seen him run across towards top of yellow stairs, but Pasha's just feeling himself. He goes, yeah, I'll go for it again. I'll have another swing. And he gets no because of that. So ITB not looking good, and yeah, certainly not looking good as Dan is able to find Creeds, and this timeout Ollie looks as though it's all for naught as ITB are just falling from the sky and picked off one after another. A flawless for VP. My word, 5 rounds in a row.
That's worse. Things have gone from bad to worse here for ITB. They cannot buy a round right now on Consulate. Just taking their tactical timeout, and it was not good for a round. That is never a great sign. A lot of real solemn faces in the player cams here for ITB. And with a wry smile across his face. VP never get too fired up until the end of a game. Well, that's what we are rapidly approaching right now. VP, map point,
Bomb located by
6-4.
attackers.
As you mentioned, Demo, 5 rounds in a row. And honestly, there's not a lot that looks like it's going to get in their way at this point. ITB, very solo on the approach for that previous round. Nothing being traded, not even a potential for a trade. They're just plainly walking into angles that, in some cases, they know are being held. A little bit of head loss coming in, it seems. There is time for them to steady the ship. They have a chance to take this one to an OT. They need 2 rounds, but they need them right now.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
So VP got themselves a point anyway. That's what they will walk out of here, but I just think the way the game has went and the way ITB have attacked, they just looked completely out of it. They just, the ideas that they've had, they've just been losing their engagements more than anything. That's what I've really seen, Ollie, on their attacks. They just cannot win the gunfights. You know, a lot of the time for VP, you know, they're getting the opening pick. They're stressing ITB out. They just look lost whenever they lose that first engagement. I just don't see VP walking away with not 3 points. I think they're going to walk away with all of them here today.
You get that feeling, don't you? We've watched enough Siege now to get an idea of what's going to happen. Don't get me wrong, I love it when you get unexpected results, but right now, we can only go off what we're seeing.
He can't buy a kill.
Creed's been terrible on that opening death. Been a real consistent theme so far throughout these rounds.
Come out wherever you are.
Pasha joins onto the pain. Surely not back-to-back flawless, his demo.
I think it could
Oscar,
be.
next player to fall. Quite possibly could be. Look at the position that Noah's occupying right now. He's got no idea that Always is just on the opposite side, tucked into copy. And Always can quietly maneuver himself. He's been totally misdroned here. Misdroned, or have they just not got the resources to find him? It's one or the two. But if he times this flank well, you could see some serious success right now.
I mean, they're trying to work Ollie with half of the map still unchecked. Your roamers are still top floor and they're trying to do vertical presence. It's just desperation. VP, I don't think it's the case of will they win this round. It's just when they will win this round, because I just don't see ITB coming back from this. They have very, very little to play off. 5 players, all unknown where they are as well. No information to play off. Where are they going to go? I mean, Azur's now starting to split up away from the rest of the pack as Kenny and co will be met with a shotgun from Joystick. Noah is there with a trade, but now he's all by himself. 4 kills to find to have one of the best clutches of this young man's career. But he's against a veteran team, a seasoned team who've been there and done that. They know how to close out a win. Or do they? Pasha gives one away, but the vertical angle's being held from Always. Able to secure it. The VP, electric on the defense. ITB shocking on the attack. My oh my. Bad day at the office for ITB, but VP Ollie, they shut up a few people after what happened yesterday. They have bounced back extremely well.
Brilliant statement there for VP, and I'm actually really pleased for them. They suffered at the hands of G2 yesterday. They've bounced back here and gave us a real competitive game over on Consulate. Their attacks didn't go to plan. They weren't fantastic on the attack. It was the defense where they really shone. And well, to be able to turn that around in a matter of only, you know, under 24 hours is very impressive indeed. The best news for VP is that it's a super week, so they can go again tomorrow. We are going to throw this one back over to our desk, and maybe, just maybe, they're going to eat some humble pie, because I had it that VP were going to win that one, and I am proud of that result.
Maybe you should get yourself a bit of pie there, Ollie. But I never thought I'd see the day to say this. Hey, VP fans, you better savor this moment. Virtus.Pro victorious in their matchup in regulation time and collect all 3 points in EU League Playday number 5. God, that feels weird, but also good to say.
Yeah, it's good to see them back. It's good to see them back with a win. It didn't look like it was going to be that good on their attacking half. What did they do? They managed to pull 2 attacks out of absolutely nothing. Late rounds, it's what we know VP for. They are good in those late round clutch situations. Again, ITB were basically just destroying them. The first 2 or 3 rounds, Leo, we were just like, this game is over. Creed was having his fun, you know, ITB were just winning rounds, late rounds, and then VP managed to just find one that they maybe arguably shouldn't have found either.
Yeah, the late round was a big problem for me at the beginning, at least for them, and then it turned into their favor in defense, and that's the biggest story for me here. Defense used to be a huge problem for them, and that's why they won this match, because they had a great defense. That's the biggest turnover that I saw from them.
If that doesn't happen, that's 4-0 ITB.
That's a huge problem there. And it happened a couple of times as well. The moment where they have the vert onto the diffuser and he's fired off, and he's not going into the fire to defuse the plant, to prevent the diffuser here. He misses that shot and he doesn't go there earlier. 2 occasions where he whiffs and he doesn't deny the plant. Now I have to say that's Virtus.Pro playing poorly in attack, but overall what we saw from there, so that desynchronization, the fact they weren't playing together, the fact that only Creed's roaming by himself was enough to disrupt VP, that was the big problem for me. But when you look at them playing together, the biggest reason why they were winning in defense is finally information didn't matter. They were bringing Valkyrie, they were bringing also barbed wires from Sentry, and they were bringing Legion and Capcan all the time to prevent those cheesy plays from ITB. So they actually reacted really well to those cheesy plays from ITB by playing the right operators into it.
I actually didn't think that ITB played cheesy enough as well. You know, I was saying this to you as earlier, was that It feels like ITV, we know them for these kind of cheesy plays, the Shields,
Yeah.
the Grims, the Yings, the Lions, the Dokkaebis, the Capitals. Maybe once or twice. We saw them get a plant down very early in the round in one occasion. The rest of the time, they were trying to play a little bit more default. And I actually think against VP, when you're attacking against VP, that is one of the worst things you could do. And I was very surprised that they chose to play that way, knowing that their strength is to use these crutch operators.
You're playing into VP's game. That's literally what they do. Structured, slow, methodical, no matter the side it is, especially on Consulate where you have all this read on them. It should have been there, but that was not the case. Now, if we were to turn to a specific round, is there one that you can pinpoint that was an inflection point?
It's actually the one you mentioned just before, the one when in round 8 you see ITV rush in and they are able with a Lion Charge to send Creeds onto the bomb site. He's planting right now from below, and at the same time they send Yings up top to bait the defenders. And they actually managed to get the plant. That's what we mean by ITV's main win condition, is those cheesy plays to get into the bomb site, find a hole, use cheesy operators like Ying, like Grim to try and have a plant safe. The thing is, that cannot only be your win condition. See the problem here? Oh yes, it's great, you got the plant down. Did you have a proper cover for it? You didn't. You had nothing, zero control. No ways to actually control who was defusing. And that's my biggest problem here. If they always rely on these cheesy plays and never have another try of game plan, that's just not gonna cut it against the top teams in Europe.
And I think my biggest problem is that's the closest they look like winning an attack round, right?
Yeah.
And even then, it wasn't good. So they're not winning through the cheesy stuff that they tried. They did try and do a couple of rounds a little bit more default, like you say. That didn't look good either. I think ITB have a real problem with their attacking side of the game right now. And that wasn't a problem in stage 1 or even at the major or even at EWC. But I think they might be overthinking it a little bit. Like teams have figured them out when, I don't know, maybe they have, maybe they haven't.
Well, one person that also tends to get a bit into their own head is Joystick at Fama. But when he's relaxed and gunning, there's something else to watch there.
And it's great to see him play that way as well. If you look at yesterday on Chalet, Joystick was the better player on Wolves. It's great to see such a leadership figure, someone that's so experienced, actually come back and lead the team to a win, especially after what we saw from him yesterday. I thought Joystick was doing great in the fragging ability. He was bringing IQ, which obviously didn't really matter because of all the Valkyries that G2 was playing. He didn't really counter them. But I love to see him back here. He's always been, I think, very honest with their problems. I think he's well aware that they need to find a solution to play more into the meta. And it's great to see him paving the way for his team because he's been there forever.
Absolutely. Has absolutely been there forever, Leo. You say it well. And he's actually joining us today on the show. So how about we have a chat with our winners, Virtus.Pro and Joystick, joining us. First of all, congratulations on the win. How does it feel like after yesterday? Let's kind of put yesterday aside. I'm sure Jack will ask you something about that. But today, you go in, you get all 3 points. Is that redemption in your mind?
I think it's good sign for us because it was good recovery from yesterday. We said we need to forget about it. They smashed us so hard. It's just they kicked us and let us know that our game style not very good. But again today we struggled a lot in attack. We struggle a lot with the solo roamers. We waste a lot of time, so we still need to fix it. Fix our attacks, our communication. I don't know, sometimes, you wake up and you can't do your things that you do on Scream every day. I don't know what happened actually and how to fix this. If anyone know, help.
Just give them a ring, please. Virtus.Pro, they're on here. They're looking for some help with it. Jack?
Yeah, just a quick question. So, did you expect Consulate? So, the reason that I'm saying this is ITB chose to ban out Chalet, which is obviously the map that you lost yesterday. So, did you not expect them to try and play Chalet, or did you expect Consulate?
I guess we expect Chalet more than Consulate because we show that we have a lot of mistakes on this map, but we were ready for Consulate as well. So we actually, again, we expected more aggressive plays. They, I think, only rushed one time on the exposition, with the Ying fast plant, but they didn't have really good plant cover. I mean, they don't have a lot of people inside to clear the plant denial. So it was, I can't say easy for us on this round, but it was I don't know, we are not expecting that they will go outside and they don't cover the plant.
Was you expecting much more aggression coming out of ITB then on their attacks, certainly with...
Because we were playing before versus them, and they have like a lot more play style, like with Glass, Yink, Capitao, and some stuff. We expect. I think they will play Glass with every round, but they didn't. So.
Yeah. And then the last question for me, I'm going to bring it up again. The Monty ban. Is that going to be a consistent throughout the season for you guys, or are you going to change it up a little bit?
We can't handle with it. I don't know. Like you know when you play and your teammates said like we can't play versus this operator. This operator is like it's. I don't know what to say. Like when he's coming, you don't understand what you need to do. The only counter, in our opinion, is C4 from below. You can't like do anything to the face on him. You can't do anything like what you can do. Big clash every round, but your team like what? How to counter it?
Even if you left it open now, everybody would have it inside the heads. Oh, we're against a Monty, so.
Surprise, surprise. Joystick is playing with our minds. In reality, they're more than ready. They're baiting teams into play Monty throughout it. So there you go. That's a free ban that kind of gets by the wayside. Joystick, again, a pleasure to have you now. I mean, these 2 days in a row, a quick victory, 3 points that you put on the board fully for Virtus.Pro. So that's good. Anything you'd like to say to fans out there before we close it out?
Of course, guys. Thank you for watching our team, other teams. Thank you for the support. We all love you. Mwah. And you're the best, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joystick, again. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you tomorrow. Well, maybe. Anyways, we got more games to go. And game number 2 is Wolves versus Wild, one that we've all been waiting for. See you in a bit.